Industrial activities are likely to release polluting materials into the environment. These polluting substances may spread in the air, accumulate in soil and groundwater, with the risk of polluting the air in closed spaces due to vapor releases, or by deposits on the ground, or by infiltration of damaged water pipes. The public or workers could then be exposed to potentially harmful substances. French regulation for operating facilities requires that the origin of the pollution is addressed first, and that soil and groundwater pollution is controlled at the source. Contaminated soil management is based primarily on the availability and cost of remediation techniques. With regard to residual soil contamination, the French ministry in charge of sustainable development recommends a site-specific management approach based on the future use of the site. This approach requires on-site investigations, such as soil sampling, in order to characterize the nature and extent of the pollution, but also to assess its potential impact. This initial assessment helps to decide on the most suitable remedial measures according to the expected usages of different parts of the site, and takes into account costs and available techniques. A risk-based approach, taking into account future site use, does not in any way exempt one from also managing the sources of environmental pollution. When managing contaminated sites, land managers, whether public or private, are faced with many constraints, such as compliance with relevant regulations and the various areas of expertise being looked into. To accomplish this, they hire service providers, but it is sometimes difficult to judge their technical and scientific competences or to compare prices. A financially attractive offer might turn out to be technically inadequate. Given the stakes and financial investment involved, land managers have little margin for error. Therefore, the ministry in charge of sustainable development has brought together all of those involved in the contaminated land sector to help them. All those participating in this consultation process were able to share their experience, feedback, needs, or best practices. These meetings enabled us to draw up service standards, to create a certification process for professions in the field of contaminated land, and prepare guidelines for contractors. Professionals in the contaminated land sector can now contact certified engineering consultancies. The movies introduce not only valuable service offers for advice, assistance, validation and expert assessment, but also the most usual situations in order to identify services suitable for common contaminated land management projects.